The initial model of how we used to teach the children Bitcoin, which we still do up to now, is the fruits for sats. So fruits for sats is basically where on a daily basis, if they are not in school or the weekends, they get to tap the bolt cards on a POS machine as an example or as a demo payment of what a Bitcoin payment would look like. So that teaches the kids that Bitcoin is actually money. So right now they know, they attach the changes and the difference and the better life that they have experienced. So whenever you ask them, has become better. Why? They like Bitcoin.
Hello, this is Bitcoin Libertarian. Our guest today is Brindon Mwiine. He is the founder of Bitcoin Kampala, Uganda, a grassroots project dedicated to promoting Bitcoin for everyday community use in Kampala and beyond. Inspired by pioneering circular economy models like Bitcoin Beach in El Salvador, Bitcoin Ekasi in South Africa, and Bitcoin Beach, Brazil, Brindon has been at the forefront of bringing Bitcoin to the people, not as a speculation, but as a practical tool for financial empowerment. In late 2025, Bitcoin Kampala achieved a massive milestone, acquiring Starlight Elementary School with support from the global Bitcoin community, including Bitcoin Beach and Trezor Academy. Their vision is simple: to transform it into a world's first Bitcoin model school in 2026, complete with a hands-on Bitcoin curriculum, practical skills training, and a thriving circular economy that benefits orphan and vulnerable children through the Orphans of Uganda organization. Brindon and his team are proving that Bitcoin isn't just digital gold, is a force for education, opportunity, and hope in some of the world's most challenging environments. Today, we will explore his journey, the on-the-ground realities of Bitcoin adoption in Africa, the challenges of building circular economy, and what's next for his ambition project. Brindon, welcome.
Thank you. Hearing that introduction makes
Thank you very much.
I want to meet that person who you just introduced.
Let's talk about that person here. For me, it's a pleasure. You are the first person that I interview from Uganda, and I'm so excited to know about all these projects because these projects are the ones that we need to make Bitcoin bigger. But the first question is for you. How were you orange peel?
Well, scam. Someone tried to scam me. They led me to discover Bitcoin because I was supposed to send them funds through Bitcoin. And I did research, YouTube, found Bitcoin on my own, created a wallet. I was able to buy my first Bitcoin on local Bitcoins. And unfortunately, I sent them some Bitcoin. I sent them Bitcoin that was insignificant then, about $10. But I stayed with some little Bitcoin in my wallet, which was like $2 or something. And when that $2 became $4 after a period of 2 years, me having gone back to school, I was still in high school during that process. When I came back, I was like, maybe I could just put money in this wallet and it will become more, and I'll keep coming back to it. So it led me to, one, start with a savings mindset within the Bitcoin space. But it also pushed me to do research. I ended up trying out a few cryptos. I got my hands burnt. But interestingly, the person who actually tips me over to the Bitcoin-only perspective is called Paco de la India. So Paco was the last domino among the very many. Paco came to Uganda and his condition was, I'm going to sponsor a meetup. I want to share some things about Bitcoin. The caveat is the place where we will have the meetup from, they have to accept Bitcoin. So I started approaching businesses. I approached a restaurant which hosted us for that meetup. But interacting with Paco really is what made Bitcoin very personal to me, because I saw someone who was traveling around the world from India. He was not very rich, and he was doing his part when it comes to teaching the world about Bitcoin. And he, from time to time, gave me very constructive advice of Bitcoin is not just about you getting rich. It's about what your community is going through. He showed me a perspective of the world when it comes to financial inclusion, when it comes to how money moves. And I started to see the differences when it comes to Africa, when it comes to my country, and when it comes to the rest of the world in terms of financial inclusion. So I took on the Bitcoin only stance. I dropped all the crypto stuff we were doing. We had started doing crypto education. We converted that into Bitcoin education. And of course, as you know, Bitcoiners, once they got to hear that someone has been converted into Bitcoin, they were like, come, let's help you build. So I got really embraced by the Bitcoin community. I was sponsored by some of the Bitcoin companies to organize meetups. I received crowdfunding on Gazer to organize meetups. And I started there. I started by bringing together people who were curious about Bitcoin, would share information, they would learn, they would ask questions, I would go back and research. Sometimes I would not have the answers, and I would tell them, the next meetup, we will get someone who has the answers. So the community evolved like that, and there was a lot of activity from us to the extent that we decided to put that under a company. We created Gorilla Sats. Gorilla Sats is, I'm seeing trying to connect on my screen. I hope everything is okay.
Hello?
Are you able to hear me? Because I'm seeing trying to connect on my screen.
I can hear you perfect. So
Okay. So I was at a point where we created Gorilla Sats.
I can hear you and I can see you perfect.
So Gorilla Sats then becomes the company that we started by using to educate in the local community. But I landed on a tweet in 2023 by Bitcoin Kampala, and it was saying, if you feel you can build a Bitcoin circular economy in your community, show us how, give us proof, and you'll stand a chance to win a BTC Prague conference ticket. So by then, we had organized a few meetups. We had already done some work on the ground. So I posted some of those videos, and I said I wanted to build a circular economy around the country's biggest university. That's where I had gone to university. So I just finished and I was still staying around the university. So I volunteered to build a circular economy there. I knew what a circular economy was, but not to the detail that I needed to. So I felt learning from someone like Bitcoin Kampala was it was a blessing. So I participated, and we were three of us. I won the poll and I won the ticket. Now, when I won the ticket was for a conference that was in Europe. I was in Uganda. So I had to go from Uganda to Europe. And of course, I didn't have money. I was just a student. I've finished school. So I go on Gazer, I put up a crowdfunding campaign, and I ask for people to take me to Prague for the conference. That campaign filled up in one day like this. Yes, it was quite the sum, about $2,700. And I received sats, boo, 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 boo. A lot of people who had been seeing the work we had been doing in Uganda, Bitcoin Kampala retweeted. And the campaign was full in one day. And I had to figure out tickets. I had to figure out a visa. I had to figure out, I'd never flown before. So I was supposed to figure out how to fly for my first time. And I was afraid, but I was also used to putting myself in uncomfortable positions. So I figured it out. I spoke to people. I went, applied for the visa. I got the visa 4 days to the conference. So I had booked a ticket. So I had to travel 4 days before the conference and travel on my own for the first time. I had to switch planes in Dubai, which was, at that time, it was like space technology. To go from, I had never gone past the departures place in our airport at home. So just going past that, into a plane to Dubai, to switch a plane, to arrive in a country you've never been to. But I was able to do all that. I was able to learn on the way, really. At some point, I almost missed flights. In Dubai, I almost missed my connection flight. So I make it to Prague. And in Prague, I really spent a lot of time with Haman. I spent a lot of time with Fernando from Bitcoin Brazil. So those guys are the ones who taught me now what a circular economy is, what they had built in their homes, and they gave me a model and they told me, now go back to Uganda and figure out how you can make this work, because we don't know your country, we've never been there. You have to figure it out. I'm like, but guys, you're the ones who are supposed to tell me what to do. No one tells you what to do in your own circular economy. You have to figure it out. So yeah, I got back on a plane. I think that was my first missed flight. I missed my flight from Budapest to Riyadh. And funny enough, I had to receive Bitcoin from Haman while in an airport to book another ticket. I had booked my tickets myself, so I had not put into consideration the difference in airlines. So the flight I missed was of a different airline, so they could not put me in a next flight. So yeah, I received Bitcoin, changed it into my card, and I was able to pay for that flight. So along the way, you can see that Bitcoin has touched me personally. Now, when I go back home, Bitcoin starts to go beyond me. Now, Bitcoin starts to use me. It was like, I'm going to show you my power before, such that you believe in me and you don't doubt anything. And then I will use you to like share with others, teach others, empower others. So when I got home, I was put in touch with the orphanage by another Bitcoiner. Sorry. There's a Bitcoiner who put me in touch with the orphanage, and he had sent them their first Bitcoin. So when he sent the first Bitcoin, they had to figure out how to cash out. They were put in touch with a friend of mine called Jeff, and Jeff put them in touch with me. And that same Bitcoiner asked me to go and check on the orphanage to make sure it's real, to make sure their money is not being scammed. So we wake up one day, we pack a lot of Bitcoin books, very little food, something I regret up to now. I was going to an orphanage with a lot of Bitcoin books. I actually took, I think you have interviewed Zonda, have you? From Cameroon, Zonda Fosting. If you have not, you should. He has a book called Bitcoin Kids. We went with about 25 copies of Bitcoin Kids. And we reached the orphanage. It was real. The kids were real, but there were a lot of problems. The kids didn't have daily meals. They were sleeping down. Their hygiene was bad. They didn't have clothes. So I took the report back. I'm like, so guys, I think I've found the project that we're going to work with. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, but it's a bit far because the orphanage is, it's about 4 hours drive. If you're driving modestly, you can hit 3 hours and a half if the road is clear, but it is quite far from Kampala. They're like, but you're very apart. I'm like, but this is the place that needs Bitcoin. The city where I was, the university area, it needed Bitcoin, but not as gravely, not as immediately as the orphanage and eventually the school. So we get on a drive the second time. This time around, we had organized ourselves, had spoken to a few Bitcoiners, and they had collected some funds. So we bought the orphanage beds, we bought it bed sheets, we bought mattresses, we repainted the place. We put them on a fruits diet, a daily fruits diet that runs up to now for 3 years. We have run a daily fruits diet. And we took a few clothes. So we started to do the work. And we were doing all this funded by Bitcoin, but we had to convert. Of course, for the start, these guys don't know what we are doing. We can't start telling them, guys, you have to accept Bitcoin. So we first create the relationship and we start to communicate with these vendors. So if you're going to supply us fruits, our money comes in Bitcoin. Whenever we convert it and give it to you in cash, we lose some money. It would be better if you accepted Bitcoin. So we prepared them. It took a month or two. We onboarded them for Bitcoin. They used it for like 2 weeks or 3. They first refused. They're like, the price is going down. We tell them, no, be patient. We'll keep paying you and eventually it goes up. So it took a while before we could comfortably say that the fruits vendor was accepting Bitcoin. But the time we spent on them was used to learn how to approach vendors, how to teach them Bitcoin, how to make it comfortable for them. So we settled for a 50-50 payment for the start. So whenever we get a new vendor, we tell them in a month's time, if you keep supporting us or if you keep supplying us, we will convert half of your payment. Half of it will be paid in Bitcoin, half of it will be paid in local currency. And as you get comfortable, we would like to pay you only in Bitcoin. And that now has worked. We have about 14 or 15 vendors, all the vendors that supply the school with anything. As long as they are repeated vendors, they are paid in Bitcoin. So 95% of our expenses are in Bitcoin. Our teachers for the school. So the school now comes in later after we have solved the problems of the orphanage. The most important problem was the school. Why? The orphanage was the biggest client of the school. But because they were going through, COVID was very tough on them, the school could not collect enough tuition from the orphanage to stay profitable. And then the owner of the school also got ill throughout the period of COVID, and it was becoming hard for her to run the school. So when we came in and we looked like we were being very helpful, she's like, now you've found other people who can help you. Allow me to close the school. We're like, but you can't close the school. That's where our kids go. She said, but I can no longer run the school. It's expensive to run the school. I'm not in good health. So we now suggested to her to take on the school for 2 years and just run it as we try to find either money to buy the school from her or as we find another alternative. So we went back to square zero. We had to crowdfund. We had to speak to the world. Guys, we need to buy this school. And it took us about 1 year and a half. And at the end of last year, we were able to make the announcement public. We were able to buy the school. So now the school that we own is a very big piece in the lives of not just the orphans at Orphans of Uganda, but for the community. Because the community doesn't have a reasonable place to go for school, especially for the young children. So yeah, the goal with the school is to add some Bitcoin principles in there, teach the kids how to farm, teach them carpenter skills, teach them computer skills, teach them how to paint, how to dance, all these nice things that keep us alive. And the kids already know about Bitcoin. Some of them can define what a blockchain is. They can define what Bitcoin is. Some of them are able to teach adults about Bitcoin. We have had sessions where the community comes in and some of our kids are able to explain concepts like decentralized. They're able to explain a lot of concepts. And yeah, that's the story. It goes from my story to the story of the community. So this whole big thing that we are running in Uganda, I think we are a team of about, I would say 50 active people. Some of them from the capital in Kampala, some of them from the orphanage, which is in the village. But that's the summary of how it looks.
Interesting. It's an amazing journey because from winning the ticket to go to Prague and collecting the money you need to go to Prague in just one day with Geyser, then with all the things that you face in your trip, I think that it shows the value of the Bitcoin community, how Bitcoin community is there to help other Bitcoiners. And I think that most of the Bitcoiners, especially the OGs, they are so keen to help Africa and develop this kind of circular economies. And tell me about the orphanage. You started helping there, and you help, and you take the kids to the school and they learn about Bitcoin, or they learn general stuff and Bitcoin.
So the initial model of how we used to teach the children Bitcoin, which we still do up to now, is the fruits for sats. So fruits for sats is basically where on a daily basis, if they are not in school or on the weekends, they get to tap the bolt cards on a POS machine as an example or as a demo payment of what a Bitcoin payment would look like. So that teaches the kids that Bitcoin is actually money. So from the start, from day one, when we went to the orphanage, we started with that. So right now they know, they attach the changes and the difference and the better life that they have experienced to Bitcoin. So whenever you ask them, life has become better. Why? They're like, Bitcoin. The first time these guys came, Bitcoin, we've been tapping cards using Bitcoin. So it becomes Bitcoin that I want to apologize first of all to the listeners because it's here in Africa we take breaks based on the electricity supply. So right now the
No
Wi-Fi has taken
problem.
a break. Now I'm using mobile data.
No
The
problem.
the most interesting thing was for us to keep the kids aware of Bitcoin. We had to now start adding it into their day-to-day studies. So from the Fruits Project teaching them about Bitcoin, we started to shift some of those principles to the school. Remember, at the beginning, we only took the kids to school. Now the owner gives us the chance to administer and run the day-to-day operations of the school. So that's when we start to add teachers being paid in Bitcoin. That's when we start to add our suppliers for both the school and the orphanage being paid in Bitcoin. So now the kids see a bit more of Bitcoin. Right now, the point where we are at is we have two angles where we teach the kids about Bitcoin. We are teaching them skills. So our kids can farm, the older ones. They can make liquid soap. Some of them are learning how to tailor and make reusable sanitary towels. And the goal for us is whenever they make some of this money, because we allow them to go and sell some of their products, they can convert that money into Bitcoin and keep it on their own. They typically, the older ones will typically have a phone. We are trying to now get them to a level where they can have their own phone and they're able to save their Bitcoin. The younger ones, they will still interact with Bitcoin through the bolt cards. They will still interact with Bitcoin in class. We've had sessions where we've organized with them to sit and actually learn on the chalkboard with chalk, and we write and we define. We play for them some. We've played for them some of the Twin Turtle episodes. I don't know if you know about them, the ones that speak about what is money.
Of course, you know that the Turtle Twins are now in the public television of Argentina for the kids. In
Wow.
Argentina, we used to have there was a channel, a TV channel from the government. In the past, Argentina was ruled by these socialist people, so they start running a channel for kids, and they were teaching about socialism and all this crap. But now with the new president, in this channel, they do Turtle Twins for the kids. So the kids in Argentina can watch Turtle Twins in Spanish. So it's amazing. And it's nice that you show them to the kids.
No, Tattoo Twins is really, it's a very, they make very good episodes. They explain concepts very well. I mean, I even play for the adults that we have in Bitcoin beginner meetups, and they are really, really helpful because they explain things simply. So yeah, right now what we're doing is, as we stayed with the school over the 1 year and a half, we realized there's more potential within the school itself. So what we have done is we have a partner school. It's also a model school, but on the side of organic farming. So this school teaches the kids how to become sustainable or how to make their own food as early as possible. So we went, we benchmarked, we realized the model they use, if we got that model and we implemented it at our school and we added Bitcoin, we immediately create children who can create value in society, who can look after animals, who can look after a lot of the farm related things by the time they finish primary school. So we wrote, we were able, it's by luck that we were able to also get them as partners. So now we have them as partners, and our partnership is they will franchise their model and we will teach them about Bitcoin. So we are exchanging services. They teach us about their model, they help us set it up, and we'll also teach them about Bitcoin because they need funding, they need to get their budgets and everything. So yeah, that's how we are right now.
And how many kids are in the orphanage right now?
So right now, the same population we have at the orphanage is the population we have at the school. We have 115 children. We allow our teachers to bring in some of their kids as well. So the total is at 125 when all the kids of the teachers also come. But we are at 115, yes.
And how do they react when they watch Turtle Twins and they see
I
these
mean, they love.
concepts?
It's amazing to see. But children these days, I think by not like they're not like us when we were younger. They're not like the older generation where a TV was a new thing. But they are still amazed at the small explanations. There's a way that Turtle Twins, they have a lot of moving parts in the cartoons, the amazing ones, the illustrations. They will giggle at the cartoons. And of course, right now we are not able to do it consistently because we don't yet have electricity. But once we have electricity at the school and we don't rely on a solar, we are able to do them more often. So maybe we can do them on weekends when they don't have a school program. But it's really amazing to see them laugh and understand. Some of the things they understand, we don't even teach them. They learn from those cartoons.
Yes, and from where the kids come to the orphanage? Are kids that they don't have family or have some issues, families with problems of addiction? How do they
So
come to the orphanage?
the region with which the orphanage is, which is the eastern region in Uganda, it has a general family planning problem, and it has very early marriages problem. It's like a layer of three problems. One, early marriages. Um, it has no family planning, and then there is also what I would like to give as the most important reason: government is just not caring about the region. So those factors brought together, you'll find a lot of kids being produced by young parents. So you find one household has about 12 children, and the parents are not yet even 40 years old. So they have to work for 12 children, and some of the children end up running away from home. Some of them, the parents just commit suicide because they cannot handle. In fact, what is funny is on that village, the ratio of children to adults is 10 to 2. So for every two adults, you will see 10 children. Now, those two adults are not adults. They don't have employment. They are just relying on a farm. And yeah, it gets hectic. And some of these kids are brought through the church. They will be gathered at the church. Some of them found themselves to the orphanage because of religious places where parents go and leave their kids and abandon them there. But it's been 2, 3 years almost since 2023, and we've not taken in new children. We've had 115 children for the last 2 or 3 years, and we don't plan on taking on more children unless we see fit. Because right now, even keeping these ones, we are struggling. It's a very big budget. It's a very big expense. The older they get, the more they consume because they are becoming teenagers. The older they grow, the bigger the needs because some of them need to go to high school. So we want to first manage the number that we have, and if God continues to give us the grace, because we are creating sustainability models, if these sustainability models give us the room for us to admit more kids, we'll definitely do. Now we have a school, hopefully, the school can also contribute a bit of money that will educate some of the children that are in high school.
And from where you get the funding and the money for the school, you are sponsored by Bitcoin projects, or you do you
We typically have a public campaign where people can go and donate, bitcoinkampala.org, or you can check the campaign specifically for the school is savestarlight.org. And we have general Bitcoiners going to the website, like from this podcast, they will go there. Some sats will be left there. But our biggest donor for the school purchase was Bitcoin Beach and Trezor Academy. The Bitcoin Beach sent us some sats, and Trezor Academy has sent us some sats. We used those to make the main purchase. So now what we are doing is we are going through a gradual system to improve the school. And yeah, those are the two funding partners and all the Bitcoiners across the world because we are being funded left, right, and center by Bitcoiners.
yes. And do you only you run this project on the orphanage, or Bitcoin Kampala has other projects about Bitcoin education, circular economies creation?
So, what we had from the start, we divided the project. I would say 95% of our efforts are at the orphanage and the school. That's why you see I've been speaking a lot about that. But we also have something interesting going on around where the project started, which is the biggest university in the country. So, around the biggest university in the country, we've onboarded merchants to accept Bitcoin. And from time to time, we will have students whom we teach about Bitcoin go to pay in Bitcoin. So, we organize Trezor academies there. We organize Bitcoin diploma courses that are taught by School of Satoshi, which is the education arm. And we have meetups. We've organized the biggest Bitcoin pizza day ever. Last year, we organized the biggest Bitcoin pizza day ever. We moved the children from the orphanage and we brought them to the capital, and they joined the local community there, and we celebrated Bitcoin together. So the part of the city is still there. It's not as active because we prioritize the kids and the community which needs Bitcoin the most. But it's also fairly successful. We have about 10 businesses that receive Bitcoin payments almost every week.
Excellent, excellent. And how was this Bitcoin Pizza Day? The biggest. What did you organize?
It was the biggest because one, I don't know a Bitcoin pizza day that has had as many attendees anywhere in the world. We had 125, 10, 22. I think we had about 160 people coming from the side of the orphanage. And then we had about, say 40 or 45 from the Kampala community, and we came together and we celebrated the pizza day. The kids went to the zoo, and some of the community members who were able to go, they went there as well. I think that's the pinned tweet on my account. If people want to see, we created a mini documentary, and I called it the biggest Bitcoin pizza day ever because I think what the project stands for really is a very big thing because 115 children being taken care of, even for all these years alone, even if the project stopped tomorrow, we are already successful as Bitcoiners because we have showed that we can bypass the UNs of this world that spend 70% on admin costs and will use just 3 to 4, I think even less than 3 BTC to empower children and get them out of this suffering they were in and give them a better life. So for me, that celebration was everything in there. The efforts of all the Bitcoiners across the world that donate to the project, the kids, the smiles, the animals. It was a combination of very many things. It's something I recommend for people to go and see. It's our pinned tweet. You'll be able to see that. And yeah, I think my heart was full on that day. My heart is full that we've been able to achieve what we have. And now we have a challenge: build a Bitcoin model school, and hopefully we can open source the model for everyone to use.
It's very, very, very interesting on building this challenge. And how is the adoption in Uganda about Bitcoin? How is the interest of the people on Bitcoin, on the general public?
So what is interesting is Uganda is a youth country. 65% of the country is under 30 years. So you have very, very young people. And Bitcoin is not feared, it's just not yet understood. So there is a bit of problems that occurred in the past where scammers used Bitcoin to like steal people's money and everything, but people are still very welcoming. They want to understand. Right now, I'm actually going to start a series on TikTok where we will be doing TikTok lives to teach, because that's where we've seen a lot of the young Ugandans are. So there is really a hunger for information. On the adoption rate, there is a substantial number of people that use Bitcoin, though most of them are still using stablecoins. Of course, we don't blame them. The stablecoin guys are marketing a lot. So the marketing ends up getting them before the Bitcoin information gets them. And to say the least, I really think there's an opportunity, the country being a young country. So yeah, I would say there is less adoption but more potential than most countries I have been to really.
And what are the biggest barriers for adoption in Uganda? There is any regulation from the government trying to ban Bitcoin or the crypto space?
It's just that projects like mine that are genuinely putting down the foot to do the work are very few, because no one has ever come to stop me from doing what I'm doing. No one has tried to arrest me. Bitcoin education is okay. At some point, of course, the government released a document to prevent the scammers from continuing to steal from people, and they asked mobile money service providers to reduce the relationship. But right now, the government is actually organizing to regulate. So they've publicly called Bitcoin companies to go and register, or crypto companies. Some of the things I don't agree with as a Bitcoiner, but there is a positivity towards like regulating the whole space in the country.
And can you share any success story from any of the students that changed his or her life using Bitcoin or educating themselves on Bitcoin?
There are very many. I have 115 different stories to tell you, because everyone is actually one, the health. I like to use the example of the health. When we before Bitcoin, there was a very big problem of health at the orphanage, and that is something that we have in the past. Right now, we have very healthy children because they eat fruits, they eat eggs, they eat 2 or 3 meals a day, depending on the budget that we have. But particular stories we have a child at the orphanage who has a kidney problem, and we are able to maintain their hospital bills. We were able to get some major hospital attention for them from donations that we have from Bitcoiners. We have kids who have now gone from primary to secondary. We have about 15 children, and we are getting more in this year. And those are being paid, their life is being paid for on the Bitcoin standard. Now, when you cross over to the the Kampala side, you have me. Don't forget me. I'm also a success story. Most people tend to do that
Of course.
because I went from being a university student to now running this project. I run my own company, which is has grown substantially as a tourism company. You can come and we organize everything across the East African region, and you would tour, you would see gorillas, you would see very beautiful sceneries, the big five, and you can pay for all that in Bitcoin. Now, there are university students that our project actually started with, because you realize we started teaching in 2023 officially as a circular economy. So we have some of the students who have gone through the Bitcoin Kampala ecosystem, and they have now started to work. So some of them are buying Bitcoin. They are buying Bitcoin and they are storing it safely, and they are our biggest proponents. They speak about us. One of the success stories that I can't forget to highlight is we have the education arm of the circular economy is one of the members. It's called School of Satoshi. This is one of the old members we met in 2022. We taught them about Bitcoin, and they now have a fully fledged education company that is teaching both the capital city, and sometimes they go to the orphanage. They run a very big, I think they're on cohort 4 of Bitcoin diploma, just teaching people how to use Bitcoin. So there are multiple success stories, but the overall biggest success story is the orphanage. I just can't explain to people what it means to look after children for 3 years, back to back. Every day they eat, every day they sleep, every day they have needs, health, and everything. It's just amazing. It's amazing to see how healthy they have become. Their bodies are looking better, their faces are looking brighter. I can't wait for the world to come and see. There are a few opportunities for people to come in and see. The first one is type Gorilla, GORILLASATS, and reach out to us. We'll organize a very custom trip for you to go through the circular economies in Kenya, the circular economies in Tanzania and Uganda, or you can come through the different conferences that are coming up, or you can come through just on your own. We will welcome you and we will help you settle in. There is also a very huge opportunity for people who want to stay in a tropical climate to come to the East African region, because especially Uganda, it shines all year round and it rains all year round. So it can rain in the morning and shine in the afternoon. So there's a lot for you to take in from Uganda. I would like to say Uganda is the Pearl of Africa. It's called the Pearl of Africa.
Nice. You know that there is a friend of mine. He's running a similar project in Paraguay. He's from Uruguay, and he's running a project in an orphanage in Paraguay, working with kids. And sorry,
What's the name of the project? I might know
the name is Escuelita Bitcoin.
Know it.
Escuelita Bitcoin, and the orphanage is called Fundación Virgencita de Guadalupe. And the funny thing is that there are kids that are very poor. They come with from very poor background, very conflictive houses with violence, abuses. And there was a conference in Argentina in November, and he took 5 of these kids to the conference. And there was the first time they were going out of the country. They traveled by bus from Paraguay to Argentina. That is from Asunción, the capital city of Paraguay, to Buenos Aires. That is almost 1 day by bus. And I have the pleasure to be with them, to visit their booth. And it's amazing because you see that these are the things that would make Satoshi proud about how the use that we are giving to Bitcoin. That the impact on the lives of these kids that is having Bitcoin, that it's amazing, and they can have a better future.
I tell you, it's if Satoshi, wherever he is, he must be a happy man. If he looks at the secular economies and what they do, part of the roles I actually have is I help out in a loose federation of the secular economies on the continent. There are about 45 projects working on the circular economy model.
I think he's
And
frozen again.
those 45 projects.
Well, it's an amazing story we are listening of Brindon
Can you hear me?
running the orphanage in Uganda, giving the kids a future and teaching them about Bitcoin, that is a tool for self-sovereignty, for self-improvement, and you see Bitcoin is saving lives in Uganda and all across the world. So he's frozen. Let's see if he come back. We will wait for him so he can keep explaining us his amazing, amazing project. We're gonna wait for him. We have few more questions to ask and close the conversation. And I hope you are enjoying this conversation. If you missed the live, we are gonna be uploading in our channel. Remember to follow us. Libertarian BTC is our channel, our YouTube channel in English. If you speak Spanish, you can follow us, Libertarian BTC ESP, because on there we have more action because we speak a lot of Spanish. It's my mother language, much better than English. So, but these projects, these African projects, I enjoy a lot talking about that because it's it shows how life find a way, how Bitcoin is helping poor communities, communities that have no opportunities, that are marginalized, and when Bitcoin comes and Bitcoin touches them, it gives them freedom, more freedom. Yesterday in my Spanish channel, I uploaded a small video talking about gridless and talking about how Bitcoin mining changes the world for African communities that they don't have power, they don't have energy, and with Bitcoin now they can enjoy energy, power, and light all day around with a Bitcoin. So we are waiting for Brindon. I'm checking if I have some messages. We are waiting for Brindon and to see how everything goes and to keep telling about their amazing project in Kampala, Uganda, that it's similar to the project of my friend Ernesto of Escuelita Bitcoin. Let's wait a few more minutes to see if he comes back or if we lost internet access so we can finish the interview with Brindon from Bitcoin Kampala. Remember that now from next week, from Tuesday 13, we are going to be back with Marco Battistoshi talking about Bitcoin treasury companies, giving the report. And every morning at 10 a.m. Hong Kong time, we are meeting with the other libertarian, Immortal, that to talk about Bitcoin and general news in our mother language, that is Spanish. Let's see if he's sending me some message on X. In the meantime, we can see that Bitcoin is pumping. Bitcoin is increasing price, is recovering what Bitcoin has lost in terms of fiat, but Bitcoin is going up forever. Here is back, Brindon. Here is back. So, Brindon, so let's talk a
Yes.
little bit more before closing the conversation about the future. What are the plans for Bitcoin Kampala besides the school?
So we've decided not to plan anything new. I refuse to plan anything for this year except really focusing more on the things we have built. We have a very good vendor ecosystem. We want to spend time with them. We want to brand their businesses with Bitcoin. We want to make sure these guys get it, because there's one thing I always get from Haman when he says, if we are going to build these circular economies beyond our communities and we are going to spread them, they have to spread with the right foundations. So I feel we are still building foundations, and if we quickly become ambitious, we might break them before they even stand to see the face of day. So right now, what I'm thinking of mostly is how do we get more sats rotating in the circle that we have in Kampala and at the orphanage. We are not going to do any expansions this year. On the side of the school, of course, that is clear. We have to work on the curriculum and everything. But Bitcoin related things right now, I want to keep the circle growing and being reinforced as much as we can for this year. And the bigger plans can be in 2027. So in 2027 is when we can think of expanding to plant another circular economy, if possible, to mentor other people to go out and start their own circular economies. Because if we do all these things at once, something breaks. But if we take our time and we slowly build, it becomes quite easy. So this year, Bitcoin Kampala, very focused on the school. We want to ensure when Bitcoiners show their friends what our school looks like and what our model looks like, their friends will be proud. So we want to make you proud on the side of the school. On the side of the university, we'll have a few tournaments, meetups that all with one goal: put as much sats in the hands of students. Let those sats be circulated within the already existing circular economy, and spend time with vendors. Vendors are very needy people. Every time I see a circular economy that has 100 merchants that accept Bitcoin, I can't know how they do it, because merchants want to make money, so they accept Bitcoin for that thought, and you have to spare time to maintain and grow their knowledge while they run their business. So that is what I think we'll prioritize this year. If we can achieve the things I've mentioned, our year will have gone very well. Of course, we have an upcoming Bitcoin Pizza Day celebration. We are going to do something tactful as well. We don't like to let that out of the bag. But other than that, I don't really want to strain beyond what we can comfortably do and grow, because we are still in foundational level, and foundational level is where everything is made or broken from.
Yes, totally agree. And talking about the future of Bitcoin, what do you think about it?
The future of Bitcoin globally, it can go any side it wants. Authoritarian regimes can start to stack sats and force their country to stack sats. Bitcoin will get bonds. Bitcoin will do what Bitcoin does. It will grow. I think what most people need to define when it comes to the future of Bitcoin is their own future in Bitcoin. So that's a question I can answer. I know I'm here to stay. We have decided to build a Bitcoin only company as Gorilla Sats, and we are doing exactly that for the next lifetime. So I will be here when every prediction that everyone has made comes to happen or not happen. That's what I'm sure of. To us, Bitcoin here is a necessity. We use it as a tool of exchange. We use it to send our friends and family money. We use it to receive gifts from our friends and family and the world. So it's not going away. We'll use it day by day. When the price moves, we'll be happy. When it doesn't move, we'll still use it It's the best option we have. So we are sure it is going to stay. It is very decentralized, so it's not going away anytime soon. If the US bans it and they can no longer run nodes, we'll run the nodes from here. It's okay. So we know our place when it comes to where Bitcoin will be. We don't know where Bitcoin will be. Bitcoin will go wherever it wants.
Excellent, excellent. And the last question, if you have the chance to sit down with Satoshi Nakamoto and ask ask him, if you have the chance to sit down with Satoshi Nakamoto, what would you ask or say to him, to her, or to them?
I would ask him to share with the world the humility he got to create something beautiful and leave it alone. Because the biggest problems we have, and I'm trying to put it even in the project that I run, is continuity. Teaching other people how to love our creations and letting our creations go away from us. There should be a time when Bitcoin libertarian is able to speak with a person from Bitcoin Kampala that is not me. And for me, I feel if the world learns from that example set by Satoshi, a lot of things will go right, because people want to stay in the middle of what they have created. They don't give it a life of their own. So for me, one, I would appreciate him for giving Bitcoin and letting Bitcoin be. And I would ask him to try and teach that principle as well to all of us, because we need it. Yeah, and I would also tell him not to come back. It's too chaotic.
Totally agree on that. So, Brindon, thank you very much for your time. Anything else you want to add, and how people can contact you?
We are all over the place. We are on Twitter, Bitcoin Kampala, Gorilla Sats, or my personal handle, Brindon Mwiine. I have a personal website which will lead you to all the things that I do, which is brindonmwiine.com. And I'm trying to update it as much as possible with the places where I've spoken, with the projects I'm working on. I have a new feature coming out where I will be writing in detail what I've learned doing these projects. So yeah, that's brindonmwiine.com is a very easy place to find all the information that you might need and go to all these other projects that I work with, including Circular Bitcoin Africa Fund, Bitcoin Kampala, Gorilla Sats. Yeah, and some running content as well. I do a lot of long distance running. So yeah, that's where you'd find me.
You do long distance running?
Yes.
Are you getting ready for Sunday?
I ran my first 100 kilometers just before Christmas.
100 kilometers? How did you do that?
Believe
how
it,
long?
I did it I spent a day, 12 hours.
But you stopped, or it was non-stop?
I would stop for water breaks. It was a solo run. It should be shorter. It should take less time. But because it was solo, I was dealing with a lot of things in my head that were trying to stop me.
I'm coming back for run.
You should come.
Nice, amazing. I'm coming back running. I used to run a lot when I was fit. I used to run short distance. The maximum I ran was 15 kilometers. Now I start back because I'm running 10K in a couple of weeks, and I'm starting training again. Yesterday I ran 2.5K, but I'm pushing a little bit more. And I was asking for Sunday because Sunday is the famous day of running Bitcoin tweet. Hal Finney running Bitcoin tweet. So usually on the 11th, everyone goes and run.
I will run. I'll run. I like to run my 21
memory. So, but yeah, it's 21. It's nice running.
It's nice. Do you know the 10,000 meter world record holder comes from Uganda?
No, but I know that the long distance runners are mostly from Africa.
And
I
mostly,
didn't know.
all the mostly is not on the whole of Africa. They are mostly in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Ethiopia.
Yes, of course. Kenya, Uganda, Ethiopia, they come, and the record of 10K is from Uganda.
Yes.
How long take to run the 10K?
I'm not sure about the time, but I can check right now. I don't want to deny the audience that opportunity.
Of course.
Um,
Yes, I know that the East Africa has as much good long distance runner as we in Argentina have good football players.
Yes.
So
26 minutes, 11 seconds.
it's my best time was around 50 minutes for the 10K. So I
And
think that now I can run in 1 hour and a half.
The same person is also the fastest in 5,000 meters. So 2 world records are in Uganda.
Incredible. So yes, it's a nice running. It like when you run is like the proof of work. It's your mind against yourself, and you go and you go, and your body tells you to stop, and your mind says no. We go. It's almost small, so it's a good sport. It's a good sport to challenge yourself. So, Brindon, I would love to talk, because today we talk a lot about Bitcoin Kampala. I don't want to make the episode so long, because usually people don't like to watch so long episodes. Probably we can have you soon again to talk about Gorilla Sats and all the other projects you run with Bitcoin.
I would appreciate that. Thank you so much for hosting me.
And thank you very much for your time, Brindon. Have a great day.
You too.
And thank you very much to everyone who is on the other side. If you like the episode, give us a like, subscribe to our channel, follow us on social media, because doing that, you help us a lot in our mission to paint the world orange. Share this episode with the people you love. Share this episode with the people you hate, because we must reach 8 billion people and give them the orange pill. See you in the next episode of our podcast. Stay humble, stack sats, and remember, we are all Satoshi.
My screen, I saw it all start. Bitcoin, a code, a new kind of art. How were you